Okay, one thing I forgot to mention is if you were to try to open this just by double clicking, if you'll notice it says there's invalid characters in PRT00F. So my little script takes care of that. I just think it's safer to run this because you don't have to worry about, perhaps opening these and writing to them and corrupting them while your system's running. This just opens those files read only, and it takes care. It doesn't hiccup at PRT00F. You can see it wrote 6 jobs, extracted 6 jobs out of there, and 6 jobs out of 00E. Another thing that I forgot to mention is if you had a listing that you're working on that you liked particularly well, if you thought, oh, this is the final version, I really want to show this off, or I've got another program called Greenbar. It's not really useful for anything. It's just more for nostalgia. Greenbar 733. Type in your file name after Greenbar, and what it does is it creates a nice nostalgic looking Greenbar listing. Why won't that? There we go. There's one exists. Somebody sells a Greenbar thing. Mine's not as fancy. Somebody sells one for Windows, so they didn't really have anything like that it didn't work on Linux, so I just wrote this little one for myself. Also, I'll go to the end. Also, there existed a blue bar. Also, I never personally seen it, but I know it existed. I've seen them before. So I made a little switch here. If you type in B, now it prints it out on a blue bar listing. I think I approximated the colors good. I downloaded some screenshots and did a little eyedropper or extracted the color, so that should be what they looked like. I had fun when I was writing it because I just made up all kinds of colors. I could make it orange bar, whatever I wanted while I was playing with it. Another thing I didn't point out over here, if you look at VS Code, Visual Studio Code, you'll notice this icon here. It says Zoe, and I had installed. I took a IBM course. It's called Master the Mainframe because I wanted to know the difference between MVS and ZOS. And this little extension is really cool because it allows you to do pretty much what I was doing anyway. It allows you to work on the mainframe, the ZOS mainframe, keep your programs locally, and it took care of, moving things around, and you could get your listing. The listings would just automatically come over here, and you could view them. So this is a really cool thing for probably younger people, especially they would find the 3270 environment that would seem like old-fashioned to them. They might really more enjoy working on a mainframe if they were working locally on their own system, Windows, in my case Linux. But that's a cool extension, Zoe. And basically, if you want to learn the ZOS, MVS this old MVS is really very similar. Basically, the difference on ZOS is Unix has been added. That's the big difference that I could see. Of course, MVS has been expanded and improved, but basically, if you look at MVS JCL, it makes sense still on it's still pretty much the same on ZOS, and even that, for that matter, MVT. I've got my old 40-year-old MVT run books, And a lot of the utilities are still the same on MVS and ZOS. So anyway, I thought I'd mention that Zoe extension that you can get for Visual Studio Code. One other thing I didn't mention also is by keeping your programs local over here, if you was to look up something in your like a web browser, maybe you've seen a piece of code or something that was interesting, now that you're local, it'd be very easy to go to your web browser, copy and copy and paste that, copy it out of the web browser and come over here and just paste it in. I think it'd be much harder on the 3270 that you could get it done by various ways, but it would be much easier to copy and paste snippets of code this way if you. So anyway, that's about I guess all I have to say right now.